Growing up, I used to love the movie 40-Year-Old Virgin. That was some movie that I used to love so much. It was so comical and just the storyline of just this 40-year-old virgin guy trying to get some play, and all these guys that are around him that his job are trying to help him get some play. And it's just everything this guy went through in the movie is just so funny. It's just like you kind of feel bad for him, but you kind of just can't help but to laugh at the situation of being a grown man at 40 years old that's still a virgin. And when I was younger, it was funny. But as I've grown older and I've kind of revisited the movie, it kind of prompted this thought in my head of just how that movie seemed so left field. It seemed so like, that's like the worst case scenario for a man. But when you look at today's modern men and what a lot of what's going on in the society and just in social media, I wouldn't be surprised that there are more 40-year-old virgin men than we think. And it kind of is like a taboo topic because you would think that's almost like the worst case scenario for a man to be in, to be 40 years old and never had no cat. But when you think about it, is it really that unrealistic? I mean, think about where the world is shifting towards. I wouldn't be surprised in the next 10 to 15 years that there's going to be a lot of men in their 40s that have never been with a woman, that have never even went on a date, that have never even had a girlfriend. Because most men nowadays feel like they're not good enough. They feel like they're not tall enough. They feel like they're not packing enough. They feel like they just don't have enough to be acceptable to the average woman nowadays. They're getting brainwashed from all this content on social media, on YouTube. Most men aren't even producing enough testosterone anymore to even be real men. So their mental and their physical isn't even aligning like it used to back in the day. There's so many things attacking modern men. But to think about it in depth, I wouldn't be shocked or surprised that we have men right now at this current time that are 40 years old that are virgins, that have never been with a woman. Now, there could be a lot of different reasons on why that is, right? It could be some childhood trauma in there. Could have been a bad experience. Could have been a lot of bad experiences. But I think to myself, to get to that age and to never have been with a woman, to me is a lot. That's a lot of red flags flying, because that means you have gone through most of your life self-pleasuring yourself. You have gone through most of your life suppressing your natural urge as a man to want to procreate. Even if consciously you don't want to have kids, it's subconsciously you want to experience the act of having intercourse, because in deep down you want to procreate, but you're not even given the opportunity, or you're blocking yourself from the opportunity of even experiencing that. That's a scary situation, because it kind of makes you wonder, like, what has this person gone through and experienced to be that age and be at that current state. I just really think that it's an interesting topic, because I feel like I don't think it's an uncommon thing for a lot of young guys right now to grow older in their 20s, into their 30s, and into their 40s with zero experience with women, with zero experience with the opposite sex. I don't think it's a far-fetched idea. I mean, think of all the adult entertainment that a lot of young men are watching now. Most guys only got to leave a room and they can just get one off multiple times. They didn't have to work for it. They didn't have to go to the gym. They didn't have to improve themselves in any kind of way. They just woke up, opened their phone, went to their favorite website and got one off. That big dopamine hit, boom. They didn't even have to work for it. You got a lot of young guys that don't even like to socialize outside of just their confines of their job and just their small immediate family. Most men don't even have just maybe one or two good solid people around them that they can just call friends, or people that they consider that they're cool with. They don't even have that. Most guys are literally living a lonely life of pain, suffering, and being deprived. And you may ask, what is causing that? Okay, that's the problem. If that's what it is, then what's causing it? I think the main issue, if that's what's causing it, is the fact that it seems like every year for men, the standard just keeps rising on what we have to be. And most young guys are being hit with this head on because we're in this age of social media way heavier than older guys, that are maybe in their late 20s or mid early 30s. The younger guys are getting exposed to this head on. And they're developing low self-esteem and confidence in themselves because they feel like, compared to this guy that's this tall or this good looking or has this amount of money or has this car or whatever, they don't compare. They see all these beautiful women with these kind of guys and they feel like they'll never be able to be that. And they stay in this world of just watching other people through a screen. And they have zero time outside around real life people. The average woman, we got to understand something, right? The average woman, she can't even have those kind of expectations for the average man. To be tall, to be rich, to be packing, to be good looking, to be clouded up. Like, how many regular average day-to-day guys are walking around with all those attributes? Come on. They're not. So the average woman is going to pick the best options that she has, of course, but she's not going to expect you to be all these things. Like a lot of these guys that don't go outside, that don't socialize, think they have to be that. So in turn, they hide themselves, or they just feel like, what's the point? And they self-loathe and they live in this world of fantasy where they're just self-pleasing themselves. They've coped so much to where now they just feel like, what's the point? What's the point of trying? I can just sit in my room and get my rocks off. I can just daydream about the females that I want to get with and get my rocks off. So what that end up doing is that leads to a 21-year-old guy coming from 21 to 30, zero or minimum experience with women, to being 30 years old now feeling like, yeah, I'm really over the hill now. I haven't had my fair share. I haven't done this. I haven't done that. So now the mindset is even worse because now the age is caught up. So at that point, most guys just go off the deep end unless they click back in place with somebody sitting them down that loves and cares about them and tell them, hey, look, you need to go outside and touch grass, nigga. You know what I'm saying? You've been living in this little world you've created for too damn long, nigga. Like, real talk. And it's just like, it gets worse the older you get. And you hit 40 and then you look up and you're like, wow, I don't even know what coochie smell like. I don't even know what it feel like to hold a woman without clothes on. Just to feel a woman, the scent of a woman. Some guys have not even experienced that. And there's some guys that are on their way to never experiencing that. It's a sad thing. And I think the only solution to it is, I don't care how you look. I don't care how you feel about yourself. You got to start somewhere, right? The solution is starting somewhere. The solution is being like, you know what? How many guys are walking around picture perfect? Really not any, to be honest, right? So what makes me indifferent? Why can't I just be an average guy, if that's what I'm starting out as, and just go out here and just see what happens? The worst thing that can happen is you never tried. The best thing that can happen is at least you know now where you stand. But the guys that are living in this world, they don't think logical like that. They think it's over. They think because they don't have this and that, what's the point? And this is why that movie, The 40-Year-Old Virgin, to me, isn't so much of a comedy anymore. It's more of a warning of what's to come. If most men, especially in the 20-29 range, don't wake up to the reality of that, we're being brainwashed to feel like we are not good enough as men. We're getting poisoned by the food to make us less masculine on a mental and physical level. If you aren't doing everything in your power every day to maximize yourself as a man, you're not going to make it. If you don't care about your diet, you're not going to make it. If you don't care about what you watch and listen to and read, you're not going to make it. If you don't care about your mental health, your spiritual health, your physical health, you're not going to make it. You have to be strategic with these things. You can't just look at these things like a passive action no more. Times have changed. The guys that are focusing in on these things are the guys that are going to have their fair share at some point, or if not already. But the reality is, being a 40-year-old virgin isn't a far-fetched idea anymore. I think it's becoming really something that is going to definitely take over in the next 5 to 10 years, maybe even earlier. And the only resolution to this issue is realizing that it's brainwashed. It's brainwashed. It's brainwashed. We're being brainwashed as men. A lot of guys think they're just so chopped, and maybe they are a little bit. But I guarantee you, there's one female out there that's gonna bounce that, you feel me, for you. That's gonna throw that back for you if you walked outside every so often and just socialize a little bit. You never know who you'll come across. And it's not even about just, sex. It's not about just sex. But that's what a lot of men think about, right? I'm a man. I know that's what majority of what we do is based around. We want to look good, be in good shape, make money, have a nice car, have nice shoes on, have a fresh haircut. Why? Because we want to attract a woman to have sex. That's just that's a man's thing. We are just procreational creatures at our core. And it is what it is. Nothing wrong with that. But you got guys out here that just give up too quick and too soon and too early at a young age that are just willing to just be behind a computer screen and have a bottle of Vaseline and pizza rolls sitting on a damn dresser, and they're willing to live in that life forever because they feel like, what's the point? I'm not good enough. It's the mindset and it's the brainwash that's the problem. And the only solution is to touch fucking grass. I can't tell a person individually why they are in that state or going down that path. But generally, the main issue is just social media. And that indirectly creates the mindset of feeling like you're not good enough. And that indirectly creates the attitude of why try. It's all connected. But hey, I know it's different. It's different times now. But I mean, you as a man, you are going to have to work harder than you've had to work. I mean, your father, your dad's dad, they didn't have to work as hard to be real men. But in this generation, you have to put effort into being a real man. You have to make it a priority to be a real man. And it's just what it is. But we don't turn things around as men. Being a 40-year-old virgin is going to be the new norm. It's no longer going to be a comedy. It's going to be a reality.